It's time to put the finishing touches on your API. I'll walk you through setting up the first two routes with your handy-dandy Swifty persistence functions, and then I'll challenge you to do the third one on your own. Let's dive in. Go back to your entryroutes.swift file in Xcode. First off, delete the line with the temporary data store and replace it with a reference to a private database. This should show some compiler errors when you type this in. Go to the top of the file and import CouchDB. Go to your initialize entry routes function and add code to save a reference to your database. Now that we have access to the database in this file, let's start overhauling our routes. Delete everything inside the getAllEntries handler and replace it with the following code. It might have seemed like a lot of work to wrap up inside the persistence function, but doesn't this look nice? Even with the addition of an actual database, this means our get route is nice and clean. Delete everything inside your add entry handler and replace it with the following code. Just like the last route, you make sure you have a handle on your database first. Then you save the new entry to the database. After that, you can use the single get function on your persistence class to make sure the record created in the database is legit. After that, you can use the completion handler to return the entry, if it exists, and either an error or nil. Okay, now it's challenge time. You're equipped with a nice delete function on your persistence class. How would you update this delete route to work with the actual database? Okay, delete everything inside your delete entry handler and replace it with the following code. Again, this is a good chance to point out how much codable routing simplifies your code. You can use regular raw routing in Kitura if you'd like, but then you have to write a ton of code with the request and the response to make it work. These routes are concise and make what's happening on your server make sense to anyone looking at your server for the first time. Go ahead and deploy your server to the cloud once more, if you're following along that thread. The command is bxapp_push. Build and run your application. Let's use Postman to test everything out. Try making a GET request. You should get an empty collection in the response. Now post a new entry, and you should see a nice response with an ID that is a long hexadecimal string. Now post a new entry, and you should see a nice response with an ID that is a long hexadecimal string. Try posting a couple more examples so you can see a couple of different entries when you try another GET request. After that, try copying and pasting the ID of one entry into a delete request, and see if you get a friendly response. Try the GET once more, and you should see it gone from the collection. You did it! Let's wrap up what you've done so far in the next video.